Hey everyone, Yoyston here, and I hope you all are doing well, wherever you are in Middle-earth. Today I'm joined once more by my brother-at-arms, Mr. Royen. How are you doing, man?
I am good. In the rank, I believe I'm Master at Arms in the Etmors. On
Master-at-arms, yeah,
Watcho,
sorry.
but I don't
Sorry,
remember.
sir.
It's been a while since I was in the Etmors.
So, today we got another trailer, and Royen was able to join us this time as we were both just doing our things all day. Grad school's really starting to get going, so I'm able to try to do this when and where I can. So thank you all for your patience. I really appreciate that as grad school starts to pick up for me here.
And just to be clear, like it's just these kind of impromptu midweek stuff
Yeah.
that we have to kind of just punt and try to make it work.
Yeah, put together for sure. So, yeah, good point, Royen. Like the normal videos shouldn't be affected by grad school. So, alrighty. And so, yeah, today we got what seems to be the final Rings of Power trailer before season 1 comes out at the end of next week, which is crazy that we're actually finally here. I didn't know if we would get another one, but
I didn't either.
I knew that if we did, it would be on a day that I was busy, and sure enough. So I think it's possible because House of the Dragon, Game of Thrones just dropped on Sunday that maybe this is trying to keep up steam for Rings of Power. I'm not quite sure. I know right now, like tonight, the Rings of Power premiere is happening in New York. I have a couple friends that are attending there. So I think they're just really trying to amp up some stuff. I know recently they put out that they're going to show the first a couple episodes or first episode of Rings of Power for free.
First two, I think, are for free.
For free at some cinemas. So if you're interested, check that out. But yeah, so without further delay, we'll jump into the trailer here. Yeah, it's 2 minutes, 40 seconds. And yeah, to avoid copyright, I'll just kind of skim through it. So we won't mention everything. There's actually a lot that happens in this trailer.
Yeah, we're back to the montage, kind of.
Yeah. We've got Galadriel there at the beginning. Some wargs or something, if you can call them that. Actually, you know, these first 10 seconds kind of are weird to me because they're like a trailer for the trailer at the beginning of the trailer.
Yeah,
you notice that, Ryan?
Marvel started doing that. I don't know if anyone was doing it before that, but Marvel started doing that about 5 years ago, where it's like if you're watching it on YouTube or on like Twitter or something, they just have like an 8-second, like super intense, like what I call Inception music with all the big drums, the big bass drums, and then it's just like, now you're watching the trailer. It's like, what was this?
yeah, I thought that's what I clicked on. Yeah, so we go forward into what's the actual trailer, and we get a bit of context, finally, what seems to be Galadriel's kind of exigence in the story. And her brother, according to her, gave his life hunting the enemy. So we know Finrod wasn't really hunting the enemy. I mean, he was helping Beren and Finrod died. She does have other brothers who died in the Dagor Bragolok, I believe, the Battle of Sudden Flame. Mm-hmm. And maybe this is one of them. Maybe this is a new character, but ultimately he's dead. She takes the dagger that we've seen in all these posters and trailers and stuff. We get some more Numenor shots and Galadriel getting up on a ship. I've got the subtitles turned on here, so we see some of this dialogue. Stand with me is what Galadriel's saying. Ours was no chance meeting. You know, you've got this dramatic turn of Durin the Fourth, Nordestiny, just some random character shots. This cultist is so odd. So I definitely rescind what I said. This is definitely not Sauron. I don't know who this is, but this is definitely not Sauron.
This is some original villain. He has to be.
Yeah. I think it's a she. I'm not sure, to be honest. But looks to be a cultist of some sort. We've got the Meteor Man, so this tall dude in ragged robes. Looking at some...
Just gets his apple.
Yeah. Got his apple. He's looking at some wargs. Tar Miriel, talking about some Numenor stuff. We got a sealed door on a boat. Okay, Arondir. I like Arondir. He's definitely growing on me in the trailers. He looks just like cool, and he just seems to be doing his thing, you know? He's definitely growing on me. That first shot of him catching the arrow and that one trailer, that seemed kind of generic to me, but now I'm like, all right.
So far, just from trailers, he is my favorite character.
Yeah.
Which is kind of dumb to say, But I agree with you.
Because, like, Elrond's and Gilgalad's in this series,
I know,
you know?
but, like, it's also just, like, it's a trailer. Like, how can you have a favorite character? But just, in every...
Yeah.
He just kind of looks... He looks like... He looks cool. I don't know.
Yeah, I like him. Well, and from what we can tell from other things that they've released recently, so there are people that live in Mordor before Sauron kind of came there during the early Second Age. It's called Tir Harad, and I believe he is an elf that lives close to Tir Harad and these people, and that's how he develops that relationship with the girl, the woman, and he's a Sylvan elf. It makes a lot of sense for Sylvan elves to be kind of in the east and the south, and it's cool that they're jumping into east and southern lands to have stories with these people. But my goodness, like, since they're that close to Mordor, things won't go well for them.
Yeah.
So you've got Dis, the woman dwarf that she's saying to Durin the Fourth, one day this will be your kingdom. Durin's like, yeah. Choose not the path of fear. Sorry, we'll just go through it and then we'll kind of give our thoughts. Durin the Fourth, Durin the Third, he looks awesome. His crown looks a little funky, but yeah, he looks cool. I like the Khazad-dûm aesthetic for sure that they're going for. White Tree of Numenor, Galadriel in a Númenórean robe. Got some orcs just running through the forest. One thing we can do better than any creature in Middle-earth, this is one of the Harfoots talking about this, it's like we stay true to each other with our hearts bigger than our feet, even bigger than our feet. Everybody's at dinner. We've seen shots from this dinner. It looks like the dwarves made, as I was discussing with Matt from Nerd of the Rings on a live stream last week, looks like the dwarves made this table that they're all sitting at. There does seem to be some conflict as Elrond, it's not mentioned much in this trailer, but from other things we've gotten, Elrond is keeping the secret of the dwarves, and Gilgalad's like, ooh, that might hurt our people. I'm not sure what the secret is, but something to be aware of. There's some tension between dwarves and elves. Classic. Galadriel swimming with Halbrand? The guy. The dude. I can't remember his name. I think it's Halbrand. I'm sure as we watch the show, I'll get better at these character names. We can survive this, you and I. Arondir saying that. And then Galadriel's going through this cold, and then somebody falls over. Commander, wait! And she's like, no, keep going.
I don't know if that's just like cut weird because it's a trailer and there's like 3 hard cuts in that just like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
But man, it looks so clunky.
It's so weird. And like, all right, is Galadriel just awful? Like, I hope not. You know, it's just, I'll leave him behind. He was slowing us down.
It's so weird. It's so weird. I don't know.
She says there is a tempest in me. She's got Elendil right next to her, right there. She's climbing the glacier again. And then Elrond, you fought long enough, Galadriel, put up your sword. More shots, more random things happening. Isildur looking scared. And then she says, without it, what am I to be? And real fast, because the last time I did a trailer review, my apologies, everyone. I feel like every time I watch one of these trailers, I get something wrong or I miss something. But last time I said, oh, I think there's a Balrog in here somewhere, and then I didn't see it because I didn't wait for the end. So this time I will scroll to the end, but I don't think there's anything.
There's no hidden surprises here.
Yeah. Okay, so, Royen, what are your thoughts?
So, overall, I like this trailer less than the last one. The last one that we talked about, at least.
Yeah, the last one and I'm trying to think. So that was...
Was that on a podcast?
That may have been on a podcast. Was that the San Diego trailer?
I think so.
That
that was the Comic-Con trailer. So the Comic-Con trailer was my favorite trailer. This one, it felt like a step back. It felt like a step back into what I have on the podcast been complaining about. Is like just trailer marketing, where it's like pick a song that doesn't. This song that's playing in the background.
It's so weird.
It's not going to be in the show. This is just a trailer song. So why is it here?
Yeah.
Why is it? It feels. Yeah. It takes me out of like because it doesn't fit. If you're gonna,
it doesn't. It's a good song, but I don't think it fits.
If you're gonna pick a song for just the trailer, then make it at least fit. Make makes sense. But you have like this really high, really soft like vocals, and then every 5 seconds I get more bum 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 bum, and it's like, all right, chill, all right.
yeah, for real. The tone is all over the place for sure,
and I can't even. It just doesn't. I don't like these types of trailers where you have. I don't like trailers. All right, I should clear the air on that too. I don't like any part about trailers, really. I used to like trailers, and now I don't know if I'm just, as I grow older and more, senile, I just feel like they're bad.
Bro, we're like in our early 20s.
Or if they're actually just like decreasing in quality as I grow older. But it's like every trailer feels exactly the same, no matter what the media is, no matter what the genre is, no matter who makes it. It always feels the same. I tell you, it doesn't matter what trailer it is, doesn't matter what movie it is, you're going to have a bunch of like hard cuts with big drums. You're going to have one character making like a monologue, but it's not actually a monologue because it's like six different monologues clipped together.
Yeah.
And that's kind of exactly what this is. It feels very, at least from the trailer's perspective, it feels really generic. On to more of the content. I mean, I like that we're seeing more of these characters. A lot of these more worrying questions are starting to get answered. Like, no, that's not actually Sauron. We said, psych.
Yeah. Now everybody thinks Halbrand is Sauron transformed. At this point, it's kind of like Mephisto in the MCU. It's like, am I Mephisto?
Who's Sauron? Like pretending to be right now. It's like there's a real chance that he's not in any of these trailers, guys. But
as pitch meetings would say, it's like, am I Sauron? Yeah.
But yeah, so I honestly, even though Galadriel is very clearly like the main character, and from her voiceovers, I can kind of see what I imagine one of the main themes throughout the entire show for her is going to be, kind of her transformation from this warrior character, this sword wielding, angry, screaming, hopefully not like, friend abandoning character into the Galadriel that we know from the actual Lord of the Rings, where she's no longer a warrior, but she is still a leader. And I would imagine, spoiler warning for the Second Age, guys, that will be her main theme over the entire show. We have these lines like, put up your sword, without it, what am I? Clearly, Galadriel doesn't have a sword in the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. So we know where she ends up for sure.
So
so kind of what I'm hearing is like kind of mostly mixed, but some of the same thoughts from before with some of the other trailers. Trailers kind of suck.
I kind of really dislike trailers, but there are characters here that I'm beginning to grow more interested in, and I don't know the names compared to what Yosin. Like, you're throwing out these names, and I'm like, huh? Who? What?
Around just Twitter.
Around here. Name I learned today, by the way. Who is the short-haired elf. The more I see of him, like we said, the more I like him. I'm really interested in the story too. That you mentioned, like, I think he's kind of in or near Mordor before it was like full Mordor, and just from like the couple action shots I saw of him, I'm like, man, that looks accurate, especially the one where he's like running up the chain with like the big axe thing, like
and like clips onto the side or whatever it is.
I don't know. The more I look at him, the more interested I am in his tale. It does feel like sort of like Game of Thrones, where we have many different viewpoints from very far across the world, and then maybe they'll all join up later. We seem to have this Harfoot story, this Dwarven story. Elrond's got his thing going, and then Galadriel and Arondir and whoever else is going to jump on the ship here.
And it's kind of like, since Arondir is an elf, like for me, for this character, the stakes are higher than it is for like other characters. Cause I'm like, dude, he might survive and then like maybe sail west or still be in Middle Earth during the late Third Age. Like, my headcanon is playing around with the idea of like, ooh, okay, like maybe he could survive this. Mm-hmm. And Arondir, as an elf could be around later in Middle Earth, even obviously though he's like an Amazon only character, things like that.
He could be. He could technically be around at least in Amazon's version of the canon, or he could die a tragic death. But the cool thing is that we don't necessarily know. Maybe you find that cool. Maybe you find that annoying. But I
versus like the humans, I already know.
It's like I know. I know these characters. Most of these characters' fates. It's like okay.
Yeah.
It's just how are we gonna get there. One question before you move on to your next thing, but with the short hair, around your short hair, does it take you out as much as we feared that it would when we first saw it? Because I'm surprised by how little I care anymore.
Yeah, same. It's like I don't really care at all. Like I've seen renditions of people making paint or pictures of like how he would look with like Sylvan hair and locks and all that kind of stuff, but whatever. I don't know. It's also part of like it's just we're gonna see other parts of Middle Earth, and so we're gonna see other sorts of cultures and outfits and customs and things like that. I mean, Bronwyn, which is the woman he's has this romance with, like she looks like her costume looks a lot different than other women that we've seen in Middle Earth. Somewhat similar maybe to some of the women in Gondor in Peter Jackson's Return of the King, but So for me, I would say this trailer overall it's like fine. I agree with Royen of like trailers overall are just kind of meh. And the more I watch trailers for more projects, the more I'm like kind of, okay. So they're kind of disappointing because they either give too much context and like they destroy the plot that they're trying to tell. Batman versus Superman's trailer, or they don't give anything. And it just feels generic. Yeah. Yeah, they don't give anything. It's like, okay, so I don't know what's happening at all. And so that's whatever it is. But for me, something feels... I kind of can solidify this now that I've seen all these trailers and now that this is the final one. We'll see with what the show is actually like, of course, in less than 2 weeks. But something does feel off to me, just in most of these scenes.
I agree.
It could very well just be maybe the music and things like that, but I think it's more. Something feels off. I think eventually, here pretty soon in the next maybe couple weeks or something, I'm going to make a video on how I would do a Second Age show. Not really a video related to Rings of Power much, but just how I would go about doing a project like that. I've been giving it a lot of thought recently, so let me know if you guys would like to see that in the comments below. But for me, it's like this... It just feels off. Something's just not completely right. Galadriel is very present as like definitely the protagonist of this trailer, at least. I know Elrond has an arc that isn't super apparent in this trailer, but he will have a big arc in the show with the dwarves and all of that. But Galadriel is definitely the biggest character that we get from this trailer, and something just feels off. Not necessarily only about that, but about everything at large. Take even, this shot that I just pulled up here. Royen, it's at 49 or 50 with like the wargs and then the Meteor Man. I don't even know if those are wargs,
The thing that screams most about this is that if this is just a new take on wargs, like I like it less than Peter Jackson's, but that's just the way that it's going to be. What I don't like is how much CGI I'm staring at right now.
Yeah, same.
We've talked.
That's what feels off too.
That's what I think feels off most to me. And it's not just these scenes with the creatures. We have like the troll later in the trailer, and then these wargs. But we have these scenes. I'm trying to remember. There's one with the weird cult man. Where is he? Oh, it's like right before this. Actually, you have this close up of his face. He's got this weird scepter, and honestly, everything about this shot looks like CGI, and it obviously doesn't need to be. I mean, he's got two people standing on a big rock behind them. They look fake. The like weird pieces of scrap metal this character is wearing looks fake. Like, why does that happen? What's going on here? Is there just so much CGI here that my eyes are just like glassing over, or is it just like a lighting change, or is it just trailer magic? I don't know. This just feels. That too. Yeah. There was another thing that really jarred me. It's when Galadriel's putting her sword into like the ice towards the end of the trailer. Just the snow on the ground looks CGI to me, and I'm like, why?
Yeah, so much of it looks CG. I know what you're talking about. There it
Like, I
is.
can understand some of these needing it. Like, there's like a scene where a ship explodes, and they do pretty good job of covering up. It's a dark setting, with a big bright explosion. Like, that's obviously CGI, but it's hiding a lot of the setbacks that CGI brings. But
Yeah.
I hope that for this massive project where they spent, so much money on this, that it didn't all just go into putting CGI that is going to look kind of questionable now and look bad in 2 years.
Yeah, that's also kind of what I'm afraid of. Like, The Hobbit doesn't hold up as well as The Lord of the Rings does, even though it was made 10 years after The Lord of the Rings,
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe that's all it is like the kind of uncanny valley CGI stuff that's going on, but tonally even something feels off. Why is Galadriel why does it look like she's going to abandon a friend in the ice, not in the forest, in the ice? Why is she swimming against a sea monster? What are these Harfoots even doing?
Yeah. What are they bringing to this story so far?
Yeah.
All they've done in these trailers, and it's not just this one, but all of them, is just cameos. Like, hey, look, it's a Hobbit, but
Yeah,
but
it's
they
just
don't actually
weird.
like show them being, Hobbit-like, or I know they're not hobbits, and that's been like a massive thing on the internet. They're not hobbits, guys, but
Yeah.
so far it feels like they brought them in just so that they could say, "Listen, guys, we're in Middle Earth because we got hobbits."
Yeah, exactly. I literally think it's only a framing device. And Nerd of the Rings, that like that's one of Matt's biggest like complaints so far about the show is he's like, we don't always need hobbits, because then when we get hobbits and use them as a framing device and have them as like the heroes, it's way less impactful. And I kind of agree. When they maybe brought hobbits into earlier parts of like the Lord of the Rings Online, it's like, okay, that makes sense because they needed to do that for the hobbit characters, but we don't need that here necessarily. The Meteor Man, this is also what feels off to me. I don't know who this is and what's going on with him, but at one point in the trailer, it's like blink and you'll miss it sort of thing. He's like bending the forest around him as he's like screaming or something. I'm like, I don't know what's happening. It's just this is what feels off to me. It feels not like the plots and the stories that they are inspiring, or that they're inspired from with this. So I don't know. One of the first things that I'll say in that video, I think I'm gonna do it, but the video on the how I do a Second Age show is. First things first, I wouldn't even try to adapt it if I didn't have the rights to the Unfinished Tales and the Silmarillion. And because I think this is what you get. It's like you get these random stories that might like seem like the Silmarillion. It might like point back to things in the Silmarillion, but mostly it's just off. It's a little different. And so then when you introduce these elements of intrigue and mystery and magic, like the Meteor Man, it's just like, where is this grounded in? What are we doing here? But again, this speaks to our point of like why trailers kind of suck, is maybe with more context he'll actually really make sense, because for all I know he could be a Vala, he could be a Maya, but maybe they don't have the rights to say it, but they really need him in this story for some reason. Like it could be possible. I know in the Lord of the Rings Online again, like there's a character named the Huntsman, and he's very much like Arome, but they don't have the rights to say Arome or like any of that. So I think he's just one of the Maya that serves Arome. Mm-hmm. It could be something like that. I have no idea. But again, I don't mean to be negative or anything. Honestly, overly negative or overly positive. This is what it is, and there's nothing really other than to just see what happens in a week and a half, as we always kind of say with these trailer reviews. But yeah, I feel like it just cements our thoughts of like, okay, some things look cool, some things look off, and something feels a little off, but we'll see.
What do you think, just quickly?
Yeah.
What, we spent like you and I both spent like 20 minutes kind of like pointing out all the things that really grind our gears here. What do you think from the trailer, this specific trailer? Is there anything here that you look at and you go, I'm really glad I got to see this because I like this?
There's something that is intriguing to me. At 134, I've kind of gone past this point a little bit. I don't know if that's Sauron looking at a bunch of orcs, or if that's going to be like Galadriel's brother, or who that is. Adar, I have no idea. I can't really tell from what he's wearing, but he looks like some sort of evil or corrupted elf. I don't know, again, if this is Sauron, but that is awesome. They didn't show the backhand of Sauron that we've seen in other trailers in this one. I've really liked that. I like the aesthetic of Linden and Khazad-dûm. The aesthetic of Numenor is pretty good. For some reason, it feels like a lot of CGI. For me, it's very apparent in Numenor. Maybe it's because there's so much light in Numenor to where it like shines on all the CGI. I've seen pictures of Numenor from other from other trailers, and it looks almost like Minecraft from very afar because it looks very blocky, and I'm like, what? That's just strange. Maybe it's just low res. I'm not quite sure, but I do like the aesthetics of a lot of these places that we're seeing in the trailer. But how about you, Ryan? Anything kind of that you're happy to see?
It's a lot of these man characters, and I can't just pick out their names because I haven't done all the research, but I'm honestly seeing a lot more human characters than I expected just from so much of the news, and that's pretty exciting to me. You know, we obviously have a pretty big spotlight on dwarves, or on like 2 dwarves, and then but I really enjoy the Numenorian like society, and like how is this going to come across on screen? I'm kind of excited to see a lot more of that explored. But I just figured it out. I just cracked the case.
Oh yeah,
Yoisten, I cracked the case here. I just went through every frame. My new number one beef. It's not the CGI. It's not any of this. There's only like one shot that's just landscape in this entire trailer.
And I was actually just on that one. Yeah,
it's that mountain with like the mist coming off of it. Like there's no characters. There's nothing here. That was what made Peter Jackson's films for me, was just the beauty of New Zealand.
Absolutely. I mean, there are a couple. At 117, there's some mountains. A couple things like that.
You're right. Yeah. So
the Harfoots,
but that's a character. There are characters there. I'm talking about
just landscape.
Just a landscape establishing shot. Love him. Huge fan of him. Really brings me into the world. It's what kind of separates Middle Earth from any other fantasy. That's true. Middle Earth, even in the books, you know, the professor spent such effort to make sure that he was explaining that it's not just the characters that are beautiful, but the world that they live in.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it fantasy. You know, and that's my new number one beef with this trailer system, is because they had so much stuff they wanted to fit into 2 minutes and 45 seconds that no establishing shots of beautiful nature. And I hope they're not all just going to be CGI.
Go ahead and look at. There was one that I keep coming back to, 203, and this is really. There are a couple distant characters there, I guess, but like that, I love the.
Oh yeah, this is a good one too.
Yeah,
but there is something going on here in the foreground.
There is
in the background a little bit. Looks like there's like a camp. I don't know. Yeah, this is a weird looking shot.
There, but if you get rid of like the car looking thing at the front, and then
what is that like a wagon that's sunk into whatever?
I have no idea.
Is this ice? It looks like ice in front of us, so I don't know.
If I had to guess, I would say this is in Tir-Harad. This is in Mordor.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, no.
This is probably my current guess. I could be wrong, but yeah. So, alrighty. Very good. Any final thoughts on the trailer, Ryan?
No, I think I just nailed my big thesis.
The big thesis. I like
establishing landscape shots.
Yeah. For me, again, it's like I can definitely say that something does feel off with the trailers overall. Something feels weird to me. Hopefully that goes away with the show, and like the show is much more close to lore and fits Middle Earth's vibes better than it seems to right now. But a couple things to look forward to, a couple things I'm worried about, and that's definitely per usual. So. My friends, real fast before we wrap things up, thanks to our Valar tier patrons: Kyle Wetzel, Peter Sheppard, Jonathan Putnam, Mark Kralick, Blair Scouten, Merten, John Hume, Sam McBee, Matt Sibbach, Elizabeth Calvert, Maz Gibs, Rhys Jenkins, Adam Petrlik, Brandon Glidden, Molly Sullivan, Daniel Burns, Anthony Harmon, Dorwin Gray, Arthur Merlin, and DJ Vaught. Thank you so much to all of our patrons and YouTube members. The support really means a lot. Everyone, let us know what you all think. about the trailer in the comments below. Is this better than the other trailers? Again, does this do anything new for you, or does it just make you feel more of the same way that the other trailers did? I'm curious to see how the popular reaction to this trailer, if it's like the others, or if it's not doing as great, or if it's doing even better and something really works. So let us know what you think in the comments down below. Royen, thanks again for joining me today, man. That was a blast.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. I'm super glad I at least got to do one of these.
Me too.
Impromptu videos. And I'm really looking forward to hopefully the audience doesn't dislike my voice, because I'm looking forward to doing more videos, especially around the show as episodes come out. So
yeah, like you're one of my best friends, so this doesn't really fall to them. You're going to be joining me for those reviews, so everyone listening, thank you so much for your input and everything, but I value Royen too much to not have him here. So my friends, thank you all so much for watching, for joining us on this adventure. You all are the best, and until the next one.